Back with Knox County Sheriff Tom Spangler. He's been on that job for about 5 years now. Sheriff, let's talk about the 313 initiative, because you hinted at it. The drugs, this pipeline we've profiled a number of times in our reporting, in particular with John North, the 313 initiative. This involves district attorneys. This involves law enforcement from across the region. Just quickly sum it up for our audience.
Obviously, just like you said, with the DA's office and local law enforcement agencies and surrounding agencies as well. It's a collaborative effort to make sure that we get information within these areas and to the agencies to make sure that, hey, we're looking for these individuals or this, and this is what's coming through. It's been very, very productive and very successful so far, so we're looking forward to more of that.
And 313 is the area code for Detroit, right? Am I correct on that?
Yeah, very well could be.
Okay.
Yes.
I read a statistic that a crime occurred in Knox County every 27 minutes. And if you live in the central part, you've got 1 in 16 chance of being in a major crime or in a crime. And if you live out west, you've got a 1 in 31 chance of being being involved in a crime. Is that true? Is it every 27 minutes in this county?
That I couldn't tell you. I don't know that we've broken it down to that.
Does it feel like it?
Our guys and gals will tell you that, because their call volume now is just from one call to another. So, you know, and not to say that each call is a crime, but that's how busy that they're staying. So, yes.
Right.
I want to turn to guns quickly, Sheriff, because that's a discussion in the state legislature. We eliminated recently any obligation for a carry permit in this state. Many law enforcement agencies and heads were against that idea. What is your message to gun owners to be responsible? If they're going to carry, how often should they train a week?
I don't know that you would tell somebody to train every week or whatever. They need to train to their capability, understand the weapon that they're using. I know a lot of times they'll just go out and buy a gun and not be familiar with it. That's one of the most important things, is making sure that you're familiar with the weapon that you're going to carry. Make sure that you're firing that weapon on a consistent basis, making sure that the gun's operating properly and everything about it. We were very adamant about it whenever it came to with the permitless carry. We wanted to be able to offer that training to those, just so that they would have that safety precaution behind them that would help them with that. And
you still do?
We still do, yeah, upon request.
Do you think the state legislature has made our state safer with what they've done with gun laws, or less safe?
That could be argued both ways, and I say that just because you see so many people who have been involved with those who are gun-carrying individuals have been able to step in to help something. I've got my own opinion on what to do with and how to maybe curtail some of the gun
Tell
crime.
us. I think we'd be interested.
Well,
You're the expert.
I think one of the things too is you look at you start incarcerating people who are involved in a gun crime. You can put any number you want out there, but let's say if you're involved in a crime that involves a gun, it's an automatic, mandatory. You're going to serve the full sentence. Make it 10 years, whatever you want to make it. If you injure somebody using a gun, it's an automatic, mandatory 20 years. And if you kill someone with a gun, it's a mandatory, automatic, whatever you want to put in, another 30 years on it. Make people understand that there are consequences for what they do, and they're going to pay for it by going to jail and not getting out on good behavior or whatever it may be.
Should that include someone whose gun is stolen out of a car that was unlocked?
And those are other things you need to look at as well, because you're not being responsible. If you're not keeping a weapon locked up somewhere, you're not being responsible.
Just a quick question. It's not as dramatic a topic, but it is something that a lot of people are affected by, Sheriff. There was talk in the spring about transferring animal control duties from both the city and the county sheriff's office and KPD over to Young Williams. Sounded like you were in favor of it. Sounded like Chief Noel of KPD was. Where are we with that? And do you anticipate, have you heard, I think Janet Testman, who runs Young Williams, was thinking by the end of the year maybe that could be done. Governing bodies have to prove that, I believe, don't they?
They do, and that's, I'm hearing that, it could be maybe by the end of the year or the first of next year or sometime around there. One of the things that myself and Chief Noel were looking at was we just don't have time with our call volume to be answering dog calls and cat calls, if you will, and we wanted to get away from that as well.
And horse calls.
Yes, I mean, we were involved in a major one here not too long ago, and then being able for us to be able to find housing for those animals as well. So that's one of the biggest reasons why we both of us had decided, look, we just don't have time because of our call volume. We need the time to dedicate to answering the calls. We don't need to be out here catching dogs, and we'll let somebody else handle that. And that's where it was before we took it over as a sheriff's office. It was at Young Williams before that.
And so, Sheriff, go ahead, Susan.
Well, I was just going to ask, I keep hearing over and over and over that our mental health problem is extreme. We know that, and that the jails are housing our mentally ill people. The governor's called a special session for October to talk about it really was a result of this Covenant school shooting.
August.
In
August, right.
Not October, in Nashville. Do you have any thoughts about that? I mean, they're looking at red flag laws, although we don't think there's an appetite for that among legislators. But I'd just like to hear your thoughts about the shootings and what's happening here.
Well, obviously a tragic situation, and it rings home to all of us. I mean, it can happen anywhere, and that's the sad thing is, I don't care how much you put into something, you're going to put that training in there to be able to respond to it, but if somebody wants to do something, they're going to do it. But it's going to be up to us as law enforcement to make sure that we react. Do we want people who shouldn't have a gun in their hand not have it? Absolutely. And I think there should be some measures for that. But
like a red flag law?
Well, whatever you want to call it, there's got to be something.
Right.
There's got to be something there.
A credible threat that this person's not stable enough to possess a firearm, even if they don't have a criminal history.
And if that comes from a judge and says, hey, they don't need to take it, or they shouldn't have that weapon. The one thing that I don't want to see is put all of this on law enforcement and say, okay, you're going to go after this person's gun, you're going to go after that person's gun.
Who else is going to do it?
I am immediately putting our officers in danger right then, and by saying we're going to go take their guns. Hopefully, before it ever gets to that point, they've already relinquished those guns. But that's going to be the problem for our legislature, is determining how they're going to do that as well.
We've got to leave the discussion there. But Sheriff, that's a great point, and one we should talk a lot more about on this program, and will in the coming weeks. Sheriff, we appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
We're back with more of our talk around right after this.